Hi everybody, it's Kate here. Hope you've all had a good week. Thank you for watching this week's Sunday School. I wonder what we'll learn from the Bible today and what God has for us to learn about Him. Now, I wonder if any of you have heard about a flood or an earthquake or a volcano, a natural disaster like that. Sometimes we see it in the news, maybe you've learnt about it at school. And they can be really scary. Nature can be so powerful. It can destroy lives, it can destroy homes, and people can get very, very frightened. I know I would be if I was in a situation where there was an earthquake or something. And today's story is a true story from the Bible, and it's about a storm, and it involves Jesus and his disciples. And it wasn't just a little storm. It was a very powerful storm, and this is a true story. Now, before I start, I want to show you a map of where Jesus and the disciples are today. Now, this is in the back of my Bible, so I hope you're going to be able to see it. This here is called the Sea of Galilee, and this is the sea where our storm takes place. Now, as you can see, there are lots of mountains around the sea. Now, because there are lots of mountains, that means that there is going to be lots of storms, lots of strong winds rushing through the valleys, making it a very dangerous place sometimes for people to be on a boat. I wonder what happens when Jesus and his disciples get on their boat. Will there be a storm? How big will it be? Will they be scared? Let's find out. Now, in the Bible, it tells us in Mark chapter 4, and I'm going to read to you the story. When they had sent away the multitude, so there was a big crowd around Jesus, when they had sent them away, they took him even as he was in the ship. And there were also with him other little ships, so there were quite a few ships on the sea. And there arose a great storm of wind, and the waves beat into the ship, so that it was now full. Oh wow, the storm is so powerful that the water is coming into the ship, and the ship is filling up with water. Now, Jesus was asleep. Jesus slept, because it says, and he was in the hinder part of the ship, so he was in the back of the ship, asleep on a pillow. Jesus was sleeping through this storm. Imagine all the water coming through and it beating across the rocks. It was probably dark, maybe there was lightning. It would be so scary, but Jesus was asleep. Jesus wasn't scared, but the disciples, his friends on the boat, they were really scared. It says that they woke him up, and they said unto him, Master, carest thou not that we perish? That means, Jesus, don't you care that we're going to die? They couldn't believe that Jesus was asleep. They thought Jesus was going to let them die. Do you think Jesus would really do that? Well, we're going to find out what happens. Now, so we can see here the storm. This is a situation at the moment. They're scared. Jesus is asleep, and they've woken him up. Now, sometimes you're not going through a storm, but you might have something difficult going on. And sometimes we want to say, God, can't you see that I'm struggling? Can't you see that I need help? We think that God can't see us or doesn't know that we're struggling, but God does. Because it says that Jesus arose and he rebuked the wind. That means he told the wind off. Like a teacher or your mum or your dad might tell you off, Jesus told the wind off. And he said unto the sea, Peace, be still. And the wind ceased. The wind stopped, and there was a great calm. So we've gone from a storm where Jesus is asleep to this. Peace and calm, and Jesus talking, commanding the sea to stop. And that tells us how powerful Jesus is and how much control he has over nature. God controls everything. There's nothing that God doesn't control. And even though we can't see God doing something, it doesn't mean he's not in control. Sometimes God lets things and storms happen to us so that we have to rely on him. So the disciples went through a difficult time, but then they turned to God and they believed in him. They believed that Jesus would save them. And that faith is what they should have had at the start. They should have known that Jesus was going to keep them safe. Now, like I said at the start, you're not in a boat. You may be one day, but you're not going to be in a boat all the time. And hopefully you never have to face a natural disaster. But we are going to have difficult times where we're really struggling. And we have to remember that even though we can't see God working, sometimes God lets things happen to us, sad things, challenges, so that we can grow and we can become closer to God. So like the disciples got closer and they turned to Jesus, sometimes God wants us to turn to him. So that's why sad things happen to people sometimes. And things may happen to you. But you need to know and remember to have faith and to know that God, the Jesus who you pray to, is the one who can control storms, he can control earthquakes, he's in control of everything, including your life. Now, in the book of Psalms, there is a verse which talks about this. And it's verse 29. And when it says he, it's talking about God. It says, he maketh the storm a calm, so that the waves therefore are still. Now that is talking about real storms, but it's also talking about the storms in our life, the difficult times in our life. He makes the chaos and the upset and the anger calm. He makes things peaceful. But you have to turn to God, just like the disciples turned to Jesus. And you also have to know that sometimes when difficult things are happening, sometimes that's there to help us grow and to help us learn. So this amazing true story of a terrible, terrible storm which happened in the sea becoming calm, just by Jesus saying, be still, and talking to the sea, tells us how powerful God is, and also how God is with us all the time, and how we can rest in the fact that God is in control. If you were in that ship right now with Jesus, I'd like to think you would also have a nice little sleep in the back, because you would know that Jesus had it all under control. Unfortunately, we don't always do that. But next time you're going through something difficult, you could do that. Rely on God, pray to him, and know that he's looking after you. I hope you enjoyed the story this week. Thank you for watching these videos. Have a great week and see you all soon, hopefully. Bye.